This is Stephen Janis reporting for the Real News Network in Baltimore City, Maryland. I'm standing in front of the taxpayer-backed Hilton Hotel. It's been a big money loser for the city and the taxpayers, but now they're refinancing, and it's who benefits from that tells the tale of Baltimore's addiction to tax subsidies. The taxpayer-financed Hilton Hotel sits in gleaming abeyance to the havoc it has wreaked on Baltimore City finances. The property has booked nearly $70 million in losses since it opened in 2008. Red ink that has forced the city to use general funds to keep it afloat.
And for the first time last year, there was a small amount of the city's backstop was used, about $780,000. It opened in 2008, right as that recession was going full swing.
And the fact is, like many projects backed by the city, bad results means good news for Wall Street. At a recent finance board meeting, Secretary Steve Krause discussed how the city must sell new bonds to keep the hotel solvent.
The underwriters had an increasing debt service from year to year, was about $200,000 to $300,000. So what that was creating additional stress on the hotel from a cash flow perspective, because even if you're able to pay your bills, if you have an increasing debt service commitment, that's going to create additional stress, obviously, to the hotel's revenues.
But buried in the details of the losses was the payout to Wall Street, roughly $2 million to Piper Jaffe, the investment bank that sold the original deal to the city 10 years ago. It's a remarkable turn of events for a project touted as a big moneymaker for Baltimore, made more intriguing by the fact that not only was the hotel backed by taxpayer credit, but was a beneficiary of a huge tax break called a TIF, or tax increment finance. The TIF allowed the hotel to take all its property taxes and dedicate it to bond payments, which Steve Krause told the board still wasn't enough to keep the hotel afloat.
If no action was taken, we felt that with this increasing debt service load over the next several years, that there would be further strain on the city's pledge. And obviously that was an important thing to try to avoid.
And the hotel deal is one of many tax subsidies granted by the city over the last 2 decades that have bolstered downtown to the detriment of the city's poor neighborhoods, and points the link between tax breaks and Wall Street, a profitable nexus which remains shrouded partly in mystery.
I always believe when I get something of that nature that they're hiding something.
That's because city officials have been reluctant to share details about the deals. In 2014, then Councilman Carl Stokes asked for a comprehensive report on TIFs and other tax breaks.
It's the city who's making bad deals. The developers are asking, as they should. It's self-interest. It's the city who reneges on the taxpayers. It's the city who says, take all the money you want. Here's some more money. It's the city who does that.
In a letter obtained by the Real News, Budget Director Andrew Klein informed Stokes the request was too expensive to honor.
At least one time a developer was frank enough to share with me and said, the city said, you can ask for more. You can ask for more, right? And they accepted that number.
We contacted Klein, who wouldn't elaborate, but told us to contact the mayor's press office. So TRNN has filed a Freedom of Information Act request for the same information sought by Stokes. Meanwhile, the City Council is having their own difficulties getting information. Councilman Bill Henry has called for a new hearing and the same report next month.
This is an opportunity for them to come to the council and explain to us how the process works, and also give us an update for any of these projects where there's a multi-year commitment.
And also wants more transparency in the process.
One of the things that we would hear at this hearing is like what's on the table going forward, and what would be involved in giving the council and the public more lead time and greater involvement in the conversation and negotiation around the size of the city's incentive.
The question is, does anyone know the truth, and how costly will it be to get it? This is Stephen Janis and Taya Graham reporting for the Real News Network in Baltimore City, Maryland.